Okay.
Okay, it's recording.
We're on.
We're good.
So, my name's Ken, and I'll be your interviewer today. And I'd like to welcome you to the San Francisco Port Authority. And I want to thank you for your interest in this position that you've applied for. Um, if you're chosen for this position, I'm sure you will enjoy this position. The atmosphere that we work in is great. We all get along really well. So we always look for somebody that fits that profile, if you will, and likes to enjoy what we do. We pride ourselves in our professionalism, in our customers, in our with our staff. So with that said, we are looking for the right person that we feel will fit into that category. Um, I'd like to begin with a little history about me. 10 years ago, I started in the position that you are applying for. So I started there. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. Then I just started asking for opportunities to learn more stuff, job share, and I showed the leadership that I was interested in moving up. And, as I went through and showed them that, then they afforded me other opportunities and I slowly moved up. So the reason why we're looking to fill this position. During this interview, I'll ask a series of questions. Some of them will be education, work history, weaknesses, strengths, and then your organizational stewardship. You know what that means?
No, not really.
Okay, so what that means is, kind of how you feel towards an organization, how you feel about your job, and how you will make the company like your number one kind of a thing. Obviously not quite your number one, but you know what I'm saying. So we kind of want to judge, that you're committed and you're willing to, learn and understand the job and move and try to move forward through that. All of these questions I'll ask you today will just help me understand a little bit more about you, your education, your background, and how you'll fit in with the company. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask. During this, I'll be as I ask you a question, if you need me to repeat it, I absolutely will. If you're good with it the first time, I'll be taking notes. So if you finish a question, there might be a little bit of awkward silence. Don't take it personally. It's just so that I can make sure that I get my notes done well, because I want to make sure that my documents show really what you're all about. So if you don't have any questions, I'm ready to begin anytime you are.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So first of all, number one question, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Lauren, and I am a senior at Southern Oregon University. I'm actually set to graduate June of this year with a degree in communication. I actually also played softball at SOU for the past 2 years. I started my collegiate career at College of San Mateo, junior college in California initially. Got my associate's degree in administration of justice, and then I transferred up to Southern Oregon, where I was in the middle of my senior year. And then this pandemic broke out, and so my season ended very suddenly, but I'm finishing up my degree. And
Perfect. All right, good, very nice. Yeah, right now it's really a tough time, so that shows your commitment with that pandemic going on, how you are with school and making sure you finish that. So next question, tell me why you think you would be the best candidate.
That's a great question. I'm the best candidate for this job mainly because my education and my personal experience. And even though I don't have the exact job experience in this field, I have extensive experience in communicating and working with others, with my time being a collegiate student athlete and just also playing sports for a majority of my life. And so, and I know this job entails a lot of communicating and a lot of working with different kinds of people, and I know that's one of my strengths.
Perfect. Yes, we do a lot of that, making sure that this group over here is communicating with this group so that everything comes together and works as a well-oiled machine. Very good. So the third question is, please describe your qualifications for this position.
So my qualifications, again, my biggest one would be my education and also my athletic experience working with different kinds of people. And another part of working with other people is also being able to hold them accountable. Just because, like, especially when you're working on a team or for me playing on a team as of right now, a lot of that is being able to hold your teammates accountable and being able to get the best out of them and get the best work out of them in order to make the entire team successful. And I think
Oh,
that's a huge aspect.
perfect. Yes, absolutely. Making sure that that team thrives is high priority. Okay, so the next few questions are a little longer. So if you need me to reread them, then I more than likely will. Tell me about a time when you had to use your technical capabilities and abilities to extract and analyze data to convince your supervisor to make a change. There's more to that question, but I think that's the core of it, so we're just going to stick with that.
Okay, that is an excellent question. So honestly, this actually took place maybe about a month ago. So I was actually able to communicate with my superior, who was also our softball coach or my softball coach at Southern Oregon. And it was about the cell phone usage on bus rides on road trips. And so the rule that they have had for the past few years is you're not allowed to be on your cell phone or any like technological device for the road trip down. Does that make sense? Like just the bus ride down. And but you're allowed to have it on the way back at the end of the weekend, and that's totally allowed. But we take bus rides from Ashland to LA, Ashland to Montana, and those are really long and extensive bus rides. And so I had a family incident in the fall where which made my cell phone usage go up a lot. And so I didn't like the idea of being away from my phone for that long, just because I didn't want something to happen and me find out 17 hours later just because I couldn't be on the phone. So I was like, there needs to be some sort of compromise, or let's meet in the middle for this. And so initially I approached the seniors, since we were considered the leaders of the team. And I said, hey, I know you guys, this is one of your pride and joys. I go, but I'm just speaking from my experience, and I know other people have major things going on in their lives too. Is there any way we can have some kind of compromise, whether it's halfway through the ride or after we stop to practice? And then I was told to take it to my head coach, since he was the one who had the official go or no go rule. And so I did, and it actually worked in my favor, which was really cool. I had explained like my concerns, and I go, but at the same time, I want to make sure we keep like one of our program's core values, which is being able to like talk to each other and communicate with each other as much as possible and enjoy our time together. And so, yeah, and I was able to get the final outcome was about halfway through the ride, and then we could take out our phones, communicate with our parents, say, here's where we are, and just so they know that we're not just shutting them out just because we're on the bus ride. And so, yeah, that actually was really worrying, just because I'm normally not one to go, hey, like, I'm going at one of something that's been here for the past few years. But after communicating with some other parties on the team, who also didn't agree, and some stuff had happened with them too, but they couldn't be on their phone. I was like, something needs to change here. And again, it worked in my favor. And then our season ended. We didn't have another road trip.
Right.
But at least I know that that's something that they can continue to abide by and people can benefit from.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, that kind of fits right in with the next question. So we're going to go ahead and jump past that one. So that question is, describe a situation where you're responsible for getting others to make a change. So it sounds like you had a great outcome with that, and it did make some changes that worked for everybody, not just individuals.
And again, the biggest thing was also just making sure we are still sticking to what makes us like stand out from other teams. Because I know
Right.
a lot of other teams do not have that rule, and a lot of people are heads in their phones and not communicating with others. And so that was like a huge thing. I had to make sure we still had that, but also making it more realistic. Like you can't shut out the entire world for that long.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump right into this next one. Actually, we're going to jump to number 7. Describe a time when you had a disagreement with a fellow worker. What actions did you take, and what was the outcome? Would you change your approach if you had this disagreement again?
That's always a fun question.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I've never had like a major disagreement with a fellow coworker. I'm lucky to have that experience. Obviously, just smaller disagreements, but those were just okay. Let's just take care of this now. But I think if I were to have a disagreement, I would want to pull that person aside. I wouldn't want to do it in front of other parties just because there's no reason for other parties to get involved and potentially have miscommunication and have it turn into a blow up. So I'd pull that person aside and I'd want to hear their perspective, obviously, on the situation. And then I would express mine, and then we would try and figure out some sort of meeting ground or whether it's compromising one side for the other or just establishing like a meeting ground or what's most realistic and what would be the best outcome for everyone.
Right. Very good. Okay. Well done. I'd like to thank you for sharing all your answers with me. It definitely will help us, look at all the aspects and make the right decision. You have some great areas that you have overcame already. So we will evaluate your answers. We use a 1 to 5 scoring, total them all up, and then we go from there. And then we have some other areas that kind of can push above or below if we have ties. So that's kind of how we do that. If you have any questions of us, right now is the perfect opportunity for you to ask. I'll do my best to answer what I can answer. Anything higher than my pay grade, obviously, it's too far above me. I wouldn't know, but anything about that job, I can do my best to afford you any answers I got. Do you have any?
Actually, no, you actually answered my questions at the beginning of this
Perfect.
interview, so that's perfect.
Yes. So once I'm done with this and I get everything scored up, I'll hand this off to our HR department with my decision. And I actually use a second one that they kind of read through, and a second supervisor, and they read through it and kind of look at the notes and stuff like that. And our HR department will be calling everybody, but obviously the most qualified will get the firm job offer. Excuse me. If you're selected, there is an onboarding process, obviously, because we are working with aircraft and communications and all that stuff that FAA that is part of it. We have security stuff that we have to meet, security criteria, background checks, stuff like that. So we'll begin the onboarding process, and it can take a little bit of time to get those checks back. But after HR calls the candidate that is chosen, we'll start that process, and then we'll go from there. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to call the HR department or myself. You have my card, and I'll do the best, and they can do the best that they can to answer those questions.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.